Massive update. Ripple XRP zebec ZBCN Anchorage Digital update. You're going to want to stick around for this one. Consider smashing that like if you haven't done so already. And once again, back with the brother Rue.
Boom.
Let's get into it, everybody. So what do we have? Well, it's basically this, and it's really, really eye-opening, as I always point out. Shout out to our brother in space, Smoke. He has this, and it points out stablecoins like RLUSD reflect stronger institutional alignment, while USDC exhibits heightened structural risk. Now, we can agree to disagree with Smoke, but I want to hear his perspective, because for me personally, and I think Rue also agrees with this, I think USDC is fine. Now, if we were comparing this to Tether, people would be like, yeah, we get that. But there's this thing, of course, called the Genius Act. And, shout out to Channing and some other people in the space have been covering a lot. A lot of people have been covering a lot. So it says regulatory clarity is beginning to solidify through frameworks like the Genius Act. As you see right here, it mentions some key things that are important.
If managing your crypto feels like solving a puzzle, it's time to switch to Decent Wallet. So just a few taps, you can manage, track, and secure your crypto with unmatched ease. And here's the best part. Grab your Decent Wallet at a discounted price by using the referral link below. Don't miss out on making your crypto experience smoother and more secure.
And of course, this is documented below. So what does Smoke have? Well, he points out this specifically, and like it says here, it's a snapshot for institutions to reduce risk. Again, cited from who? Anchorage Digital, as you see on the top right. In the highlight, mentions here specifically that stablecoins such as USDP, PYUSD, RLUSD, and USDG reflect stronger institutional alignment, each operating under formal regulatory regimes and backed by reserves composed primarily of high-quality liquid assets with mechanisms like insurance or equity buffers to absorb losses. In contrast, AUSD, FDUSD, USDC, and USDO exhibit greater structural risk. Yikes. How about this part? As the stablecoin landscape evolves, institutions must stay informed and agile to effectively manage risk. Regulatory clarity is beginning to solidify through frameworks like the Genius Act, and with it, compliance expectations are likely to increase. That's important, right? So we do see that. We're citing that. And if anything, I just want to point out some of that brief analysis with that before we, of course, kick it over to the Rue. There's actually one more thing I want to kick it into before we kick it over to Rue, and that is, again, a little bit more about the whole thing from Anchorage Digital. So Smoke points out, at least at the time, again, keep in mind this is literally just the other day, so in reality it's for the most part just in. It says here, new report from Anchorage Digital ranks RLUSD as having stronger regulatory oversight and superior reserve management compared, of course, to both Tether and Circle. He says, see for yourself. We're going to do exactly that. And basically, let's actually take this next page. So interesting to see this posted. And, like it says, the matrix draws exclusively from public disclosures and third-party documentation, reflects a point-in-time look at the stablecoin landscape as of June 2025. So literally this month, by the time you get the video, maybe the month is over, right? We got a big lineup for you guys. But the matrix is not intended to serve as a recommendation. That is crucial. It is factual summary of observable regulatory and structural characteristics that may influence how institutions assess, I should say, risk, compliance, readiness, and operational fit. That is very, very important. Glad to share that, of course. And I think there's two more to point out. So give me just a moment. Yes, there is two more. And then I promise I'll kick it over to Rue, because I definitely want to get his take from some key findings in regard to zebec, how it plays a role. But again, this other one, right? So snapshot for institutions to reduce risk. And of course, you see where RLUSD is positioned. And of course, you see where Tether and USDC are positioned in regard to that reserve, asset, and liability management. So significant difference there, right? Absolutely. And then right here, regulatory oversight. Very interesting to see this. So again, we'll start out with number 4. U.S. state or other prudential regulator strong record. That's point number 4. And again, go back to this and see where RLUSD is, again, on that line for number 4. But again, Tether and Circle aren't on that. That creates worry for some people. I still say USDC is going to be more than fine. But again, a lot of doom and gloom and people fearing about the whole thing of Tether. Could Ripple get it done for them? They don't own them, but something needs to be done about that. And then on the bottom part, reserve management, mainly HQLAs, bank credit risk, and I can't even pronounce that at the point. By so many terms, right? Significantly, there's significance here in regard to equity buffers, right, with GSIBs. So interesting to see how this all comes together. Attenuated, my bad. Attenuated. I can't. Tomato. I can't. I'm in a tongue twister today. Read too much sometimes. I just can't have it come out. But nonetheless, thought I'd share that with you. Let's get to the next page of why this matters. I want to pull up this. There's actually one more page. So I apologize. So here it is. And here it is in regard to this, again, the other part of the pamphlet from Anchorage Digital. RLUSD, again, category number 4 of regulatory oversight, regulated by the New York Department of Financial Services. And again, just like what Smoke pointed out, HQLAs and bank credit risk, the equity buffer, no public information on private deposit insurance or banks. Okay, so if you want the source, everybody wants the source. Bottom part mentions all these sources, basically from Agora, basically from First Digital Labs, literally from Paxos, of course from Ripple, Circle, you name it, right? So we're going to kick it over to now Rue, who has some key things that he wants to share. And if anything, take it away, Rue.
That's interesting to see, especially knowing that both Ripple and Circle are members of the World Economic Forum. It's pretty interesting. You would think that they would both be highly regulated there. So it's interesting to see the findings there. But it kind of makes a lot of sense when you see that Ripple, like RLUSD, is regulated in New York. I'm sure the Mellon family has a lot to do with that. BNY Mellon. So I don't know. I think interestingly enough, I think they'll both be okay. Both USDC and RLUSD. Tether, like you said, is another story. But I think both will be pretty okay.
I think so too, and the whole thing with Tether. I mean, we talked about it so many times, but nonetheless, we do have to reference it. Let's take you to some key findings from Rue that will tie in the whole thing, even with zebec. This is major news as well, especially for Anchorage Digital. Let's jump right into that. There you go. Go ahead and take it away, brother.
So we see here that there's a quote from Anchorage Digital here. From Robert Mitchnick, right? And Robert Mitchnick is the head of digital assets at BlackRock. Okay, so we're going to go bring that up here and show it. And he says, as the demand for digital asset products increases and our footprint in the ecosystem grows, we continue to expand our network of service providers with a focus on the highest quality institutional providers. After a thorough evaluation, Anchorage Digital clearly meets those standards. Okay, and that's from Robert Mitchnick, head of digital assets, BlackRock. Now, one thing I just want to point out to people is that Robert Mitchnick and Simon Babakani, zebec's COO, went to the same university. Okay, if we look at this here, this is Robert Mitchnick. This is his LinkedIn site. You see he went to the Queen's University. He had a bachelor's in commerce. Okay. And he went there. This might be a little bit hard to see here, but it says September 09 to 2013. Well, Simon Babakani went there during the same time. It doesn't show any dates on his, but I've confirmed this before with you guys on a different video. So you can definitely check out that video if you want to see it. but Simon Babakani, Queen's University, Bachelor's of Commerce. So same time as Mitchnick. I think that's very interesting when you think about and look at the connections of BlackRock to Circle. They are investors in Circle, and Zebec's connections to Circle. And just to go over here and show one other thing, Robert Mitchnick also has Ripple connections. Okay, so head of digital assets, Robert Mitchnick serves as the head of digital assets for BlackRock. He is a member of the Corp Exec COO executive team. Rob is responsible for driving BlackRock's digital asset strategy, including working with internal business units to develop and execute on strategic initiatives around digital assets. Prior to joining BlackRock, Robbie spent time at CPP Investment Board in public markets and private investments, and at Ripple. During his time there at Ripple, Robbie co-authored a fundamental valuation framework for cryptocurrency assets, along with John Bates Clark, medal winner Susan Athey. Robbie has a BA and BCom degrees from the Queen's University, which we just showed you, and an MBA from Stanford, where he graduated as an let's say R.J. Miller Scholar and the Robicheck Award winner in finance. He holds a blockchain technology certification from MIT Sloan and a CFA charter holder.
Yeah, you got right. Sure. Yeah.
So we can see here that Mitchnick has connections to Ripple, and I'm sure with BlackRock being an investor in Circle, it's quite possible, maybe at least here, that Robert could have opened the door for Zebec to get in there with Circle, right? That's a possibility, and there's also a possibility since Simon and Robert Mitchnick went to the same university, same years, same major, that they may have known each other. Okay, so I think that's pretty big. And seeing as how he had a quote here from Anchorage Digital, one of the things I want to point out about Anchorage Digital, if we go back here, is that Anchorage Digital also does custody for Zebec. So I got this off of the Anchorage Digital website. We see here they support doing custody for Zebec. Okay, ZBCN right here is one of their supported assets. So again, for all of those people that love to bash Zebec, look at this here. Anchorage Digital is doing custodial support for it. And yeah, that's just it. And of course, we know that they're partnered with Circle as well. So
yeah, great findings. My goodness, Gru. It's eye opening to see all these connections, especially in light of what we shared, Smoke shared, what you shared, and how it all comes, no pun intended, full circle, right? Full circle.
yeah.
So, guys, do us a solid if you listen to this entire outline and simply type in this key word or term into the comments. If you listen, of course, to the whole thing, and that basically is what? Full circle. Because then we'll know you listen to the entire outline. On behalf of myself and also Rue Black, know what you have, know why you hold it. The research trumps FUD 110%. We'll see you guys on the next one.
Peace.